economy that has been hit one by one and shock after another, like world's recession, post-COVID pandemic, Russia-Ukraine war, cost of living crisis, and last but not the least, environmental issues including green energy. I hereby consider all my facts and demands given by the member countries and want to represent in front of duly respected board members. First of all, I want to represent the demand of my country in pain, Ukraine. They are requesting you to grant them a loan of $1.4 billion for emergency economic fund. Furthermore, they are requesting the demand setter for administrative account of around $2.8 billion through that channel. Moving towards the next country is France. It is requesting you for a help of $50 million as disaster relief grant and $80 billion for technical assistance. Heading towards our next country, which is UK, they are seeking assistance of $75 million for trust and $82 million for budget and contingent to demand. Furthermore, they are requesting $150 million for CCRT, catastrophe and containment relief fund. Lastly, we have Russia, who is requesting you for the financial support of $8.5 billion for Russia and $6.3 billion to support government income program. At the last, I want to conclude by saying that at the top of all the challenges derived from the pandemic, Russia's war against Ukraine has created new risks. The shock in international market for energy, food and other raw material has slowed down the global economic crisis and increased the rate of inflation. These have been the major challenges identified and discussed in this meeting. I kindly request the Board of Governors to go through the files and check all the details.
Thank you, Executive. From Africa continent, Delegate of Nigeria, you may raise your motion.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to raise the motion of the country Nigeria. Good morning all. Today my agenda is how COVID-19 affected my country. Nevertheless, many of the primary effects of the COVID-19 crisis on Nigeria have been economic rather than health related. The early part of the COVID-19 crisis ushered in Nigeria's deepest recession since the 1980s, with services and industry hit especially hard. The price of oil, which represents more than 80% of Nigeria's exports and more than 50% of government revenues, tumbled more than 60% between February and May 2020. In the later stages of the COVID-19 crisis, even though economic activity began to recover, inflation started to accelerate, especially for food items that are crucial for consumption among the poor and vulnerable. By disrupting markets, the crisis has exacerbated pre-existing structural distortions, including trade restrictions, such as the 2019 border closure, which were already driving up prices and eroding purchasing power even before the pandemic struck. So we request IMF to provide us a help in the form of fund of $5 billion in emergency financial assistance under the rapid financing instrument to support the authorities' efforts in addressing the severe economic impact of the COVID-19 shock and the sharp fall in oil prices. Also, we request the Executive Board of the IMF to provide help for emergency financial assistance of SDR 2,454 million under the RFI to meet the urgent balance of payment needs stemming from the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has placed our country at a critical juncture. The country entered the crisis with falling per capita income, high inflation and governance challenges. We will bring reform to our country by shifting the country's dependence from oil to the private sector, which will set our country on a more sustainable path to recovery. Thank you.
जैसे इस पे फोकस करके टेबल में तो पीछे बैठ जाइए जब ये वाले बोले ना इधर करके पीछे बैठ जाइए खड़े नहीं रहना ऑब्स्टेकल हो
A very good morning to everyone. I am here to raise the motion of the country Egypt, and my agenda is how my country affects from Russia and Ukraine war. Due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, my economy has suffered 130 billion Egyptian pound. That is 7 billion US dollar in direct losses to the ongoing.
And since then, each 21st of the March highlights a home economic theme. We feel deserve a public attention. The theme of World Home Economics Day Department is Veer Singh to present a sapling and a bunch of flowers to our chief guest, Shri Surinder Singhlaji, President, Management of Arya P.G College, Panipat. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I request to Head of the Department, Sri Satveer Singh Ji and Dr. Rajni Sharma to present a sapling to our Dr. Jagdish Gupta Ji, Principal of Arya P.G College, Panipat. Thank you so much, sir. I hereby request to Satveer Singh Ji to present a sapling Dr. Ram Nivas, Head of the Culture Department. Now, I request to Dr. Rajni Sharma to present a sapling to Dr. Sonia Soni, Assistant Professor, Department of English. Department of Commerce. I hereby request Karishma to present the sapling. Thank you so much. Thanks for welcome. Now I would like to take permission from the principal sir to continue the IMF board meeting. Thank you so much, sir. IMF. The first half of the 20th century was marked by two world wars that caused physical and economic restrictions in Europe and a Great Depression. As the Second World War ends, the job of rebuilding national economies begins. During the Great Depression, countries sharply raised barriers to trade for improve their failing economies. This led to devaluation of national currencies and a decline in world trade. The IMF is charged with overseeing the IMS, International Monetary System, to ensure exchange rate stability and encouraging members to eliminate exchange restrictions. Multilateral discussions led to UN Monetary and Financial Conference in Bretton Woods in July 1944. Delegates representing 44 countries drafted the Article of Agreement for a proposed International Monetary Fund that would supervise the IMS system. After ratification by 29 countries, the Article of Agreement entered in force on December 27, 1945. Today, its membership embraces around 190 countries with staff drawn for 150 nations. At the top of its organizational structure is a board of governors who are usually their country's finance ministers or central bank directors, attend annual meeting on IMF issues. The day-to-day work of the IMF is overseen by 24 members in executive board, which represents the entire membership and supported the IMF staff. Managing director is the head of the IMF staff and chair of the executive board. IMF works to achieve sustainable growth and prosperity for all of its reserve assets known as special drawing rights that can supplement the official reserve of member countries. As crisis has followed crisis, many countries faced sharply reduced buffers and increased external pressures. Since Russia, in a version of Ukraine, we have supported 16 countries with close to $90 billion in SDR allocation. IMF is providing assistance and debt services relief to member countries from March 2020 through March of 2020. Singh ji, for formal welcome and to address the
Singla ji, President, College Managing Committee, revered Principal Dr. Jagdish Gupta ji, Dr. Ram Niwas ji, Vice Principal and Convener of the Cultural Activities, my fellow colleagues in the department, and my colleagues who are serving as an observer in today's function, dear students, and the people from media. First, I, on the behalf of my students in the department and Kautilya Economic Association, extend heartiest welcome to our Honorable President, Shri Surendra Singla ji. He has been very kind in showering his blessing to our students and give blessing to this contribution. And today's money of the furniture we are using here is from his office. I just gave him the idea that we want to organize such a thing. He just said, go ahead. He has always used to motivate the faculty member that we are teaching, that is the part of our duty, and do something for the students for their holistic development. Dear students, you are always, and you have always been, and you will always be at the core of our institution. You are our product. जितना आप एक्सेल करेंगे उतना ही ज़्यादा हमारा. We want to discuss the union budget. So we suggested them that let us discuss the budget of different countries in the world, and they successfully discussed, and that gave us more input to us that our students are very motivated. They can do more better, and even in that function, I just floated an idea that we can we have more IMF board meeting. So after that event, many students contacted me many times that what about sir IMF function, what about IMF action. So sir, I want to tell you that this is the act of all the students. Our department is just organizing, just giving the ecosystem, just giving this physical infrastructure, and all preparation, all agenda preparation. This is the initiative of the student itself, and you will be listening them. So definitely, but just students, we are giving you the platform. It is you that you have to prove that your worth, you have to prove your worth only. So in the future also, we will be doing such activities. So I am taking a little bit more opportunity to share my some of the things which we can take up in the time to come. Usually, sir, we used to organize a national seminar where teacher present their research paper and teacher act as a keynote speaker. So why don't we have the seminar organized by the student at national level? And the topic is also very pertinent, that the sustainable developmental goals, and education is one of the, there are 16 goals in that. So education is one of the goals. So we can work out the nitty-gritties regarding finance. There are so many issues. If that is possible, that we can invite the student, particularly the postgraduate students, to present their research paper in such or national seminar or national level seminar organized by students only. In that seminar, the keynote speaker will be also from the student community, be it from Delhi University, be it from any university of different state. So this is just an idea. Okay, we can work on this idea, and if possible, we shall do it. And with these words, I again welcome our chief guest and principal and other faculty member in today's mock IM board meeting. I hope it is going to be very successful, and definitely more students will be motivated from this mock exercise. Thank you very much.
The observers who will observe to this meeting, Mrs. Meenakshi Chaudhary, Department of Commerce, Dr. Manisha Nagpal, Department of Commerce, Pankaj Chaudhary, Department of Commerce, and Dr. Sonia Soni, Department of English. I would like to seek the attention for judgment. There are representative board of governors and an alternative governor from all the member countries. But in this mock IMF board meeting, we have 4 board of governors, 4 executive board, and the managing director who are addressing the IMF staff. Now my request to managing director to introduce yourself. Yes, my request to Managing Director to introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. I am Nancy Bajaj from MA Previous, representing the Managing Director of International Monetary Fund, who is also the chairman of this meeting.
Next, Board of Governors.
I'm Anshi from BA Honors 2nd, representing Board of Governors.
Good morning to everyone. I, Tanya, student of MA final year, representing the Board of Governors at IMF, International Monetary Fund.
Good morning everyone. I am Shivani from MA Economics. I am here to represent the Board of Governors of International Monetary Fund.
Good morning everyone. I am Sia Agarwal, be from BA Honors and representing the Board of Governors of International Monetary Fund.
Hi everyone, my name is Arunma Paul from BA Economic Honors 2nd year, representing the Board of Executive of European Continent.
Hello everyone, my name is Kunal Madan and I am from final year and I am representing the African region as an executive member. Thank you.
Good morning to one and all present here. This is Gaurav from MA first year and I am representing Asia's executive board member in IMF.
Good morning everyone, I am Divyanshi Singh from BA 2nd Honors Year. As a Board of Executive Member, I am representing America continent.
Good morning everyone, I am Yamini from BA Honors 1st year. Today I am representing the country France from European continent.
Greetings to one and all, this is Sejal from MA Final and today I am representing Eastern European country Ukraine.
A very good morning to everyone. I am Lakshika from BA 2nd year and I am the delegate of European continent and I represent the country UK.
Good morning everyone, I am Sheetal from BA Economic 1st years and I am representing the country Nigeria from African continent.
A very warm morning to everyone. This is Anu Sharma from BA Eco Honors 1st year and I am a delegate of Egypt from Africa continent.
A very cheerful morning to everyone. I am Tanya from BA Economics Honors 2nd year. I am a delegate of South Africa from African continent. Thank you.
Good morning everyone. My name is Aditya Singh and I am from BA Economics Honors. Today I am representing India, member of Asian Nation.
Good morning everyone. I am Prerna Sharma from BA Honor 1st year. I am representing Sri Lanka from South Asian continent.
Good morning everyone. I am Aarti from BA Honors. I am representing the country of Bhutan.
Good morning everyone, I am Akanksha from BA final year and I am representative of China from continent Asia.
A very good morning to everyone. I am Ashish and I am representing Brazil from American continent.
Good morning everyone. I am representing Canada from the American continent.
Good morning. I Shivani from BA Economics 1st year, representing America from American continent. Thank you.
Thanks. Now I would like to hand over mic to the Managing Director for proceeding this event.
As a chairman, it is my pleasure to call to order the 2023 annual meetings of International Monetary Fund. I welcome all the board members, executives and delegates from member countries to this meeting. On behalf of all the participants, I extend through the Governor of US my deep appreciation for the people of US for the warm welcome. It is customary in these meetings to address the governors, and I shall proceed this way. One of our founding members, John Maynard Keynes, wrote, "The best economist is the one who studies the present in light of the recent past for the purpose of the future." Starting from the light of the recent past, the world economy has experienced an extraordinary uphill from first, pandemic. Pandemic has led to human loss, suffering, difficulty in maintaining decent livelihoods. In addition to this, some of the hard-won gains in access to education and gender equality has also been lost. Second, the war between Russia and Ukraine. It has brought instability to the global peace. Its spillover effects are rising inflation, supply chain disruptions, fuel and food shortage. Third, the record high inflation. The inflation rose from 4.7% in 2021 to 8.8% in 2022. Moving on to the present, the global economy is poised to slow down this year before rebounding next year. As we have forecasted in our World Economic Outlook report, the global growth rate will fall to 2.9% this year. The immediate challenge surrounding the world economies is inflation. The central banks are tightening their policy with a laser focus to restore the price stability. It is the right thing to do, but will come with a painful cost in terms of failure of banks, rising inflation, rising unemployment, and slower growth rate. Formulating the right policy is the right thing to do. The pandemic has showed us that people with strong immune system and economies with strong fundamentals withstand shocks better. For the future, the focus of IMF is to build resilient economies, resilient people, and resilient planet. For resilient economies, during pandemic, IMF approved a precautionary lending of $141 billion. A new emergency tool, food shock window, which aid the economies hard hit by food shocks, has also been set up. SDR allocation has also been rechanneled to aid the economies. To build resilient people, we are advancing new strategies for social sector in our work. Parallel efforts are also being made in the direction of fintech. To build resilient planet, we are supporting the policies for climate change adaptation, mitigation, and transition to a low-carbon economy. We are deploying all our tools and resources for lending as well as non-lending. A resilience and a sustainability trust, which has till now collected $40 billion, has also been set up for this purpose. I request all the member countries to raise their contribution to this fund. The agendas that will be discussed in this meeting are: first, repercussions of COVID-19 pandemic. Second, the implications of ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia. Third, economic hardships due to inflation and recession. Fourth, transition to a low-carbon economy. Before proceeding with the meeting, I inform all the participants the format to be followed for the smooth functioning of the meeting. Initially, the delegates from the respective continents will raise the motion. Then, the executive, on behalf of delegates, will put forward the concerns and demands to the Board of Governors. The Board of the Governors, after due discussion, will make the final recommendation, which will be later announced by the Managing Director. Starting with the meeting, from European continent, delegate of Ukraine, you may raise your motion.
Greetings to one and all present here. I'm Ukraine, an Eastern European country with a beautiful and diverse landscape. I'm also known as Tunnel of Love. Today I'm under intensified terror. It's been more than 380 days that my whole economy is suffering. Every day waves of rocket and missile attacks me, destroys me. My whole nation is bleeding, my people are bleeding. Every day many atrocities are committed against my civilian people, implying millions of loss to lives and livelihood of millions of Ukrainians. Almost 12 million of people were forced to leave their homes. About 5 million of people also left their homes. Others were displaced from here to there. They are starving as well. My whole nation is suffering in cold and darkness. They are facing lots of crises. Other than this, they don't have even money to buy fuel or electricity. A part of this, the infrastructure, including 10,000 buildings, out of which 7,000 buildings were residential buildings, have also been destroyed by Russian troops. I am already a middle-income nation. And now, due to this war, my whole economy has shattered into so many pieces. The financial loss has been estimated to $1 billion. And about this, other than this, 1/3 part of my GDP has also been lost. So, there is a desperate need of hard currency. I request all the international members and IMF members to please raise an emergency fund of $1.4 billion. I need this financial aid not only for doing defense but also for functioning of the public and social functionings. And other than this, to guarantee the return of internally displaced people. Please assist me with funds so that I will work on the macro stability of my economy, and I will also use this fund to bring back electricity, communication lines and supplies. Furthermore, this fund will also be used for renewing transportation lines
means good afternoon. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to raise the country China. Our main agenda is increasing world share in the IMF. We hold 6.09% share within the IMF. Our country accounted 18% in nominal term in 2022. Our GDP growth rate in 2021 was 8.11%, a 5.87% increase in 2020. Or in 2020, the growth rate was 2.24%. We are the largest manufacturing
and we have followed the policy neighborhood first policy. According to this, we have given financial assistance of US dollar 2.5 billion to Sri Lanka, 2,70,000 metric ton of diesel and petrol to Sri Lanka, 40k ton of rice to Sri Lanka, additional 11,000 tons of rice to help people of Sri Lanka to celebrate their festival. Thank you.
I also want to raise the motion against China, demanding an answer why it advances loans to poor countries at higher rate of interest, thereby increasing their debt burden.
We have had poor countries like Sri Lanka and Pakistan. The economy of Sri Lanka collapsed recently, and Pakistan is also the brink of an economic collapse. The two countries are failing to repay their loans, posing a threat to the Chinese economy.
The objection being settled now, I call upon the executive on behalf of Asia continent to put forward the concerns and demands to the Board of Governors.
With due respect to the chairperson, I executive board member of Asia constituency, taking all the facts and figures into consideration and highlighting the concerns and demands made by the delegates. Starting with Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka is set to face the financial crisis and demanding a bailout package of 2.9 billion US under the extended fund facility. And further, requesting the member countries to provide funds under bilateral federal assurance. Sri Lanka also demanding SDR's allocation of 787 million and 150 million under swap arrangement facility. Due to COVID-19 crisis and Russian invasion over Ukraine, Bhutan also requesting a favor of financial assistance, resilience, and sustainability facility to strengthen their economy, balance of payment stability, and to address sustainable development goals. Looking over the ongoing current scenario in the global world, India emerges as the brightest spot with a growth rate of 15%, and looking over to China, is also the fastest growing economy in the world. Hence, board demanding increase in the percentage of quota in IMF. So I request the chairperson and the staff members to approve the demand raised by the executive.
Thank you, executive. From America continent, delegate of Brazil, you may raise your motion now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am raising the motion on behalf of people of Brazil to plead for our case of financial assistance from IMF. As many of you know, Brazil has been facing several economical as well as ecological challenges in recent times. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought about massive economic disruption all over the world. The pandemic has caused widespread unemployment, sharp declining economic activities, and also has increased poverty ratios. The COVID-19 pandemic has hit our country hard. We lost almost 590,000 of our total manpower during this pandemic. Unemployment rate is at its peak at 15%. Inflation rates have also skyrocketed and is at 11% as of 2020-21. Brazil is the ninth largest economy of the world in terms of GDP, but during the period of pandemic, our economy lost about we faced a loss of 4% in our economy. We believe that our economy is no different from another, and many other countries are also facing similar problems. But we believe that IMF is uniquely positioned to help us assist in these difficult times. Finally, I urge the IMF to help us in these critical times and provide us a loan of 5 billion US dollars to help us in this economic crisis. This loan will not only help us to help our country, but also will contribute in global economic crisis recovery. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Now I call upon the delegates of other countries. If they want to raise a motion against it, with no objection raised, delegate of Canada, you may raise your motion now.
Good morning, everyone. I am representing Canada. Canada joined IMF on December 27, 1945. One thing to know about the Canada that when we work together, we can accomplish the incredible things. We recently announced $20 million in new funding to IMF to help public financial management capacities in Caribbean and other small developing states. Climatic change is the biggest challenge facing humanity today. The emission reduction plan is a roadmap to meet achievable greenhouse gases emission reduction targets. The government of Canada is harnessing the ingenuity and the will of the Canadians all across the country, not just to fight climatic change, but to create sustainable growth and build strong economies to the future. Sector by sector, Canada's plan set out the action needed to cut pollution. The government of Canada is committed to supporting local solutions and community-driven projects that will build a clean energy future for all. Together, we are trying to build healthier, greener, and more energy-resilient communities for future generations. So here we are favoring fund $30 million from IMF, Canada's emission reduction plan, whose agenda is clean air and strong economy.
Thank you, delegate. I appreciate the delegate for raising the agenda of climate change. We at IMF supportive of the policies of climate change adaptation, mitigation, and transition to a low carbon economy. Now, I call upon the delegates of other countries if they want to raise a motion against it.
I want to raise a motion against Canada.
Your request is approved, delegate. You may raise your motion now.
As you are saying that when people of Canada are together, they can achieve anything and unbelievable things. I totally agree with your statement that you can achieve anything yourself. Then why do you want funds from IMF? Don't you think there are countries like us, underdeveloped countries, South Africa, Nigeria, and other countries who need more funds than you?
Yeah, I want to answer it. Here we are asking fund for emission reduction plans. As we all know, modern economy growth, sustainable development is also necessary. Canada is taking the initiative for the other country too. As the world concerned, not for the single economy.
With the motion being settled now, delegate of US, you may raise your motion now.
Good morning. Good morning. I have surety that you all have heard or even convinced about America's influence in IMF. So here I am to burst judgment. As India mentioned, USA has 17.46% quota share and 16.52% vote share. We are the largest cumulative contributor at IMF with $155 billion. USA
joined IMF on 27 December 1945. Now on to the education. American policymakers regularly shape the specific content of IMF conditional agreements, provide huge loans when USA interest of year 1986 to 1998, which showed that American power extends beyond the capacity to influence the IMF's orientation of fund policy, and how America's political dynamics directly influence the IMF's further function. But in the same conclusion, in that same report, the researchers who have analyzed, derived the whole empirical relationship, disowned their own research. I repeat, they disowned their own research. They said they provide no direct evidence that anything such they have proved any have any relevance. This can be completely coincidental or misinterpreted by them. Here, two scenarios can arise. Either we are so well in strategizing our moves that you are not getting it, or there is nothing suspicious about America and I am not influence over it. Here, I rest my case.
Thank you, delegate. Now, I call upon the delegates of other countries if they want to raise a motion against it.
Yes, I have motion against America.
The request is approved, delegate. You may raise your motion now.
I hope you have knowledge of Silicon Valley bank failure. As you Americans, the most intelligent species of Homo sapiens found on Earth, then why are you blaming others? Thank you.
Silicon Valley Bank had their investments of $80 billion in mortgage-backed securities with low interest rates. As you all know, Silicon Valley Bank has invested in 21 Indian startups. When the Federal Reserve, the Bank of America, increased their rates to curb inflation, at that time the Indian startups, instead of staying there, withdrew their funds. This made SVB, in fact, forced it to sold their assets of worth $21 billion and bear the loan of $1.8 billion. And hence, India is here. I won't raise the motion in US.
Your request is approved.
I have another motion against USA.
Request is granted again, delegate.
America has considered India as a developed nation. Justify it.
Yes, I am. We classified India as a developed nation, eliminating the preferential treatment it received in duty investigation. My bad. It will help USA industries to penalize India if it harms USA industries with unfair subsidized exports.
You are manipulating the world and you are hiding the facts. But according to your US Trade Act of 1974, it contains a section GPS called Generalized Section of Preference, which reduces the tariff rate for developing countries. Now we have dominated your market. Now you are removing from our developing nation. Justify it.
Is that our fault you have been? Is that our fault you had colonized?
या मेरा ये क्वेश्चन सबसे है 200 years या फिर 75 years इनमें से बड़ा नंबर कौन सा है यूके may you please justify it
I want to raise my motion. Why are you crying over the same scenario again and again? It was a historic matter, and now this is not beneficial to raise this agenda.
I request all the participants to maintain the decorum of this meeting.
We are not crying, but we are spilling the truth, which you are guys unable to digest. In British, you may call it British Museum, but in India, we call it Chol Bazaar. Thank you.
I request the participants to not to use such language.
And one more fact. According to World Bank, our GNI value is $12375, which is very less than criteria for developed nations. Then why America is considered? No, it is a lot of Iraqi civilians. How it can favor?
Please maintain the decorum of the meeting, participants. The motion With the motion being settled now, I call upon the executive on behalf of America continent to put forward the concerns and demands
and the demand of member countries of my region. Starting from the Brazil region, when we took an initial look at the total COVID-19 deaths at Institute for People, and due to which Brazil is still facing the consequences. So, Brazil is requesting IMF to provide the help with a fund of $5 billion to support the country's effort to recover from the post-pandemic economic effect. Now, focusing on the Canada economy, there is a commitment to social progress, environmental balance, and economic growth by Canada side by side. The Canadian Net Zero Emission Accountability Act, which became law on June 29, 2021, enriches in the legislation Canada commitment to achieve net zero emission by 2050. The Act ensures transparency and accountability as the government works to deliver on it. Targets. So here, taking out a unique demand for this request, I'm requesting from Canada to IMF provide $30 million funds for the motive of sustainable development too. Now, focusing on another American country, that is Argentina. The science shows that Argentina will experience devastating climate impact if it follows a high emission pathway without urgent action. Argentina will suffer 65% increase in the frequency of agriculture drought by 25, and heat waves will last more than 62.47%. The combination of sea level and fierce weather, coastal erosion will pose chaos for economy of Argentina. The faster Argentina adopts low carbon policy, the less it will relieve the climate effect. So the Argentina is requesting for the fund of $50 million US. Last but not the least, the United States of America. There is no doubt America has big say in IMF American policymaker. Regular shape the specific content of an American agreement. The US contributed 117 billion US to the IMF quota in addition to the United States has been contributed 44 billion US to funds at the IMF that supplement quota resources, and IMF has been abbreviating them together to provide essential financial and development scope for the member countries too. So at the end, I kindly request the governor to consider our demands. Thank you.
Thank you, Executive. Now I request the Board of Governors to duly discuss the agendas raised by the delegates, the member countries.
The pandemic was a crisis like no other. 2 years later, the recovery has been hampered by crisis upon crisis. I agree with all the delegates and we will consider all the recommendations. Rarely we have seen a combination of policy shocks and unparalleled events that have come together. As a member of governing body, I think that there is a lot to be concerned about the world economy that was recovering from the pandemic, but it has not over yet. And we can see commodity prices are inclining sharply. So the cost of living is going up in many parts of the world. In addition to that, we have financial tightening as the major central bankers raise interest rates to tackle inflation at home. And inflation is a major concern in most parts of the world.
Very good afternoon to you all. It is my pleasure and honor to address the Board of Governors of International Monetary Fund. We agree with the relevancy of the data raised by the executive on behalf of African continent. For our country South Africa, in the past, IMF has provided lending support of $1.07 billion. We have taken into consideration the demand for financial assistance of an amount of $6 billion for overcoming their existing challenges. For country Egypt, we have taken into consideration the demand for monetary support of $4 billion to boost the potential of the economy, which is unstable by Ukraine-Russia war. Also, we agree with the agenda raised by the executives on behalf of American continent for country Brazil. In the past, IMF has approved financial assistance of $60 million SDR. We have taken into consideration the demand of Brazil for an amount of $5 billion put forth to deal with the problem raised by the COVID-19 pandemic. For country Canada, we also taken into consideration the demand for financial assistance of an amount of $30 million to support emission reduction plans.
A very good afternoon to you all. I feel extremely honorable to address the Board of Governors of International Monetary Fund. As far as Sri Lanka is concerned, we have already approved preliminary agreement of amount 2.9 billion US dollar to overcome the existing economic crisis. We ensure faster execution of the mentioned agreement. As demanded by the executive on behalf of India, increase their quota percentage. I inform the executive that share of quotas are interlinked to countries' funding to IMF. If India aspires to increase their quota, then simultaneous appraisal in funding is a necessary condition. Moving forward to Bhutan, we have taken into consideration Bhutan's demand for financial assistance, resilience and sustainable facility, policy support and training on critical economic issues. As demanded by executive on behalf of China to increase their voting power, I inform the executive that share of the voting power is interlinked to countries funding to IMF. If China aspires to increase their voting power, then simultaneous appraisal in funding is a necessary condition. Thank you. Inflation, war, COVID-19, these are some red flags that we are going to have to watch out for. The IMF is working to help our members address these challenges and keep moving forward on an increasingly difficult road to recovery. Last year, our membership approved a historic $650 billion allocation of the IMF's SDR to strengthen countries' reserve, helping to provide much needed liquidity support to these countries. Building on this achievement, we began the process of reforming our financing support, starting with the efforts to boost the size of our concessional lending for low-income countries. This year, our members also agreed to launch the Resilience and Sustainability Trust, our first facility providing long-term affordable financing to help more vulnerable countries build resilience against climate shocks and future pandemics. Since the start of this pandemic, IMF has approved $258 billion in new financing to 93 countries. We are now extending that support to those most heavily affected by the latest set of shocks. In the last, I would like to say, working together is the only way we can successfully address the challenges we face. So we are heading over the final report to the payment.
The final recommendation of Board of Governors are for Egypt, financial assistance amounting 4 billion US dollar has been approved. For South Africa, monetary assistance amounting 5 billion US dollar has been approved. For Brazil, 3 billion US dollar has been approved. For Canada, $30 million have been approved. For Sri Lanka, 2.9 billion US dollar has been approved. For Nigeria, 5 billion US dollar has been approved. For France, a disaster relief grants of 50 million has been accepted. Amounting 80 million for technical assistance has also been accepted. For UK, infrastructure funding amounting 20 million has been accepted. A stagflation debt amounting 1,000 million has also been accepted. For Ukraine, energy fund amounting $1.4 billion has been approved. Let me conclude. Since we were founded, we have always looked ahead, supporting the world economy. and at every critical juncture, we have supported our member countries. I want to thank the entire membership for the continued support. Over 190 countries are cooperating with us on all the issues that matter to us. I look forward to the support and solidarity to embrace the spirit to build a more resilient world and to build an IMF for the future. The meeting has been adjourned now.
A big round of applause for all the participants, all the delegates, all the executive board members, all the board of governors, and especially for the managing director. It was a recommendable event. And now, a pessimist complains about the wind, an optimist tries to change it, and a leader adjusts the sails. The sails for this particular motion were adjusted by a person who are not only a leader but also having faith to others in bring together to make the things happen. He is none other than our beloved Principal Sir Dr. Satish Gupta. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more and more, you are a great leader. These lines are truly thought for our Dr. Satish Gupta ji. Sir, your leadership, your education, your positive attitude is always great.
Thank you, Vedanta. A very good afternoon to everyone. अपने कॉलेज के पीजी डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स के द्वारा ऑर्गेनाइज की जा रही इस मॉक आईएमएफ बोर्ड मीटिंग में उपस्थित कॉलेज के कल्चरल एक्टिविटीज इंचार्ज डॉक्टर रामनिवास, एचओडी डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स प्रोफेसर सतीश जी, सभी फैकल्टी मेंबर्स, प्यारे बच्चों, सबसे पहले मैं डिपार्टमेंट के फैकल्टी मेंबर्स को और इन बच्चों की पूरी टीम को बधाई देना चाहूँगा कि बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से वेल प्लान मैनर में आपने मॉक जो बोर्ड मीटिंग कंडक्ट की है, बहुत अच्छा लगा देख करके। हर बच्चे ने अपना बेस्ट जो है परफॉर्म किया है। डेफिनेटली उन बच्चों ने जिन्होंने इसमें पार्टिसिपेट किया है उन्होंने तो बहुत कुछ सीखा है, और जो यहाँ पर बाकी बैठे हुए हैं उन्होंने अपने आप से वादा किया होगा कि नेक्स्ट टाइम यदि कोई मौका मिला तो मैं भी इसमें पार्टिसिपेट करूंगा। और मकसद भी हमारा वही होता है बेटा, कि जो दूसरे बच्चे यहाँ पर अटेंड कर रहे हैं उनके अंदर भी ये भावना जागे कि आगे अगर कभी मौका मिला तो मैं भी ऐसे ऐसे प्रोग्राम्स के अंदर पार्टिसिपेट करूंगा। इस मीटिंग के लिए आपने कितना पढ़ा होगा उसके बारे में, IMF के बारे में, मीटिंग कैसे कंडक्ट की जाती है। बेटी नैन्सी बजाज ने बहुत अच्छे तरीके से एक जो चेयरपर्सन का रोल होता है, मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर का जो रोल होता है, बहुत बखूबी आपने निभाया है। हर कंट्री ने अपनी अपनी जो डिमांड रखी है उसके ऊपर ऑब्जेक्शन रेज करवाना, उसके कंसेंट जो है जिस तरीके से ली गई है, रियल में जो हम मीटिंग देखते हैं बच्चों ने 100% मैं कहूँगा उससे भी ज्यादा अच्छा करने का प्रयास किया है। उन्होंने बहुत ही शॉर्ट स्पैन में, क्योंकि ये आइडिया जिस दिन आपकी बजट के ऊपर मीटिंग की, बजट के ऊपर आपका डिस्कशन था, 10-15 दिन का समय लगा है, उसके अंदर बच्चों को ये इनपुट्स दिए गए, तैयार किया गया। तो बहुत बहुत मुबारक बेटा पीजी डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स के सभी टीचर्स को और सभी बच्चों को जिन्होंने आज की मॉक मॉडल। सर सुरेंद्र शुक्ला जी आज आए, हालांकि थोड़ा सा तबीयत उनकी ठीक नहीं रहती, उसके बावजूद भी वो आए और बहुत खुश हुए देख करके कि कॉलेज के बच्चे एफिशिएंटली परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं। बहुत अच्छा लगा है बेटा, और इस प्रकार के कार्यक्रम फ्यूचर में भी आप करते रहेंगे ऐसी मैं उम्मीद करता हूं। और सभी फैकल्टी मेंबर जो इसमें इन्वॉल्व हैं, डेफिनेटली आपने अपने टीचर से इनपुट लिए होंगे, उन्होंने आपको गाइड किया होगा, उनको भी मैं बधाई देना चाहूंगा। रियल मायने में टीचिंग यही है। जो करिकुलम यूनिवर्सिटी ने आपको प्रोवाइड करवाया हुआ है वो तो हम टीच करते ही हैं। इस प्रकार की एक्स्ट्रा एक्टिविटीज के अंदर जब बच्चा आपके पास आता है, आप उसे अपने इनपुट्स देते हैं तो बहुत कुछ खुद को भी सीखने को मिलता है और बच्चे को भी लाइफ टाइम याद रहता है कि मेरे कॉलेज टाइम में ऐसी ऐसी कोई इवेंट हुई थी और उसके अंदर फलां टीचर ने मुझे कोऑपरेट किया था। तो प्यारे बच्चों, मैं आपसे यही उम्मीद करूंगा कि जो कॉलेजेस पैंडेमिक के बाद खुले हैं, रियल जो आप क्लासरूम में जो अपनी स्टडी कर रहे हैं उसका बेनिफिट यही होता है बेटा। बहुत सारे इश्यूज जो रेज किए गए हैं हर कंट्री पैंडेमिक के बाद रिवाइव करने के लिए अपने डिमांड रख रहा है कि मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम है, मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम है। रसिया यूक्रेन के वॉर ने क्या क्या पूरे वर्ल्ड को हिला के रखा हुआ है। इन्फ्लेशन जिस स्पीड से जो है इंक्रीज हो रहा है, उसके अलावा जो बैंक्स को अपने रेट इंक्रीज करने पड़ रहे हैं, बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी हैं जिनका वर्ल्ड वाइड इम्पैक्ट आ रहा है। तो डेफिनेटली इस प्रकार का जो फंड बनाया गया इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड जो है 1945 में जो है इसको बनाया और अबाउट 190 कंट्री इसके मेंबर पार्टिसिपेट हैं। तो उसके पीछे ध्येय यही है कि यदि कुछ मुद्दे ऐसे हैं जिसमें वर्ल्ड स्पोर्ट की जरूरत है, इंटरनेशनल स्पोर्ट की जरूरत है, तो IMF के माध्यम से उनको जो है कुछ सहायता की जा सके, उनको रिवाइव करने में, उनको ग्रो करने में। तो निश्चित तौर पर आप सभी को बहुत बहुत बधाई देना चाहूंगा, बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देना चाहूंगा कि बेटे आपका इकोनॉमिक्स डिपार्टमेंट, मैं कई बार ये बात पहले भी कहता हूँ, हमारे आर्य कॉलेज को आर्य PG कॉलेज बनाने वाला इकोनॉमिक्स डिपार्टमेंट है। पहले PG कॉलेज के अंदर जो है ये इकोनॉमिक्स डिपार्टमेंट में हमने इकोनॉमिक्स आपकी शुरू हुई थी। और जो बच्चे इकोनॉमिक्स में जो है मैं कहता हूँ एडमिशन लेते हैं बेटा, लाइफ के अंदर कभी भी आप मार नहीं खा सकते। लाइफ के अंदर जब भी कोई दिक्कतें आती हैं, रिवाइवल जो होता है, जब रिसेशन आता है, तो इकोनॉमिस्ट ही उसको रिवाइव करते हैं। तो आपका रोल बहुत चैलेंजिंग है, पर केवल आपने जो बुक स्टडी नहीं करनी, उस जो टॉपिक्स आपके हैं बेटा उनकी गहनता से अध्ययन करें, अपने क्रिएटिव आइडियाज लेकर के आए, अच्छे रिसर्च पेपर लिखें। आप PG के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, अपने टीचर के साथ मिलकर के अच्छे रिसर्च पेपर लिख सकते हैं। तो डेफिनेटली अगर आप ऐसे आगे बढ़ेंगे तो आपके लिए करियर बहुत ही ब्राइट होगा। तो मैं ज्यादा समय ना लेते हुए अपने सभी फैकल्टी मेंबर्स को, विशेष तौर पर जो है हमारे सुशील जी को, मैडम रजनी को, सभी जो टीचर जिसमें इन्वॉल्व हैं, उन्हें बहुत बहुत बधाई देना चाहूंगा कि बहुत अच्छा आयोजन जो है आप सभी ने ऑर्गेनाइज किया है। उन्हें बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
Thank you so much, sir. Your guidance will always support our students and motivate. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Rajni Sharma for vote of thanks. A very good afternoon to all. On behalf of Kautilya Economic Association, an organ of Department of Economics and staff members of the department, I'm glad to be standing here to express my vote of thanks. A special thanks to our principal sir, Dr. Vish Gupta ji, for accepting our invitation and for being here with us today. Your thoughts have truly inspired us, sir. I thank Dr. Manisha, Professor Meenakshi Chaudhary, Dr. Sonia Soni, Mr. Pankaj Chaudhary for sparing their time for the judgment and for observing today's event. Thank you, sir. I thank Professor Satveer Singh, HOD of our department, for always supporting and guiding us. I would be failing in my duty if I do not thank my students who have made this event possible. The superstars of today, especially Kunal, Shivani, the president of Kautilya Economic Association, and other students also who are always eager to make things happen. So give a big round of applause for our students. I thank you all for putting your maximum effort in a short span of time. Their late night calls to ask me for what to add more. I also would like to thank our Vice Principal, Dr. Ramniwal sir. Thank you, sir. I again would be failing in my duty if I do not thank for the staff members of the Department of Economics, Madam Anju Malik, Karishma, Hina, Ritu, Mansi. Thank you all. The intellectual team, the most IMF board meeting really will be fruitful for all of you in future. I would also like to thank each and everyone, our audience all, for all of you for being here and making this day a wonderful and memorable. Thank you once again. Now, it is time for the prize distribution for this IMF that are nurtured, groomed, and given all possible opportunities to grow and bloom. Now is the time for the much awaited event for all delegates and students. Following the old tradition of the Department of Economics, now is the time that we acknowledge and encourage the talent of the delegates, of the students of this event. So to facilitate the prize of the position holders, I would like to call our chief guest, our principal sir, Dr. Vish Gupta ji.
Our deputy sir and other staff members, Madam Meenakshi, Manisha ma'am, Dr. Sonia Soni, and this is a group event, so we will salutate all the team members, all the students of this event.
स्टॉप कर लेना स्टॉप करते